Morning, everybody. Let's get out here and see what we're going to be harvesting today. I was already out here actually earlier this morning because I wanted to water early. Then I had to go back in to get my coffee. But let me tell you something. This little situation right here, it's been so daggone hot out here. I thought it was over for my shishito pepper plant, but she out here showing out, y'all, and I'm so happy. Oh, this was such a joy when I came out here and saw this this morning. Such a joy. I don't see any more end. All of this fruit from here on up is new. And this is the plant that we did the milk shower on, that we was giving all the extra love to because all the fruit from here down had end rot. But she's looking so beautiful. So excited. The Roma tomatoes are looking great. The purple pear tomatoes are over here. I mean, not purple pear, yellow pear are over here showing out. There's so many of them. And back there, my one little purple, I just wanted to call everything purple this morning. My one little green pepper, which I think I'm definitely gonna harvest all this. Look at all this oregano leaning off to the sides. I'm definitely gonna harvest some of that oregano, but I'm thinking that I'm going to harvest that pepper instead of waiting for it to turn red, because that's the only one. And I kind of would like the plant to put some energy into producing more fruit. We're back at these pickles again, so I'm going to be harvesting more pickles today. And what else? This rutabaga is finally coming out today. I'm gonna finally harvest that. I'm gonna harvest some greens, and we're gonna harvest some squash today. Look at that corn growing up, all lovely and whatnot. Of course, the seeds that I put in here aren't coming up yet. I think, when did I plant those? 2 days ago or 3 days ago? I planted those, I think it was 3 days ago actually, but there are some weeds down in there that I need to get. And the purple peppers, they're doing well as well. Anyhow, I'm not going to do a whole tour into everything. I really just wanted to talk about what I'm going to be out here harvesting, just in case for some reason I don't get good angles. This is all it was, and I just said I'm not doing a tour, and here I am walking around and everything. Yes, those cucumbers are in a 5-gallon bucket. All right, let me get in here. Let me get my shears. Coffee does a body right. Oh, here comes my production assistant. Let's get this harvesting done. This is that massive plant for this rutabaga down in here. Purple top rutabaga it is. I need a little more muscle. Look at that. Look at those roots. All this. This plant had a lot of nitrogen. This can't even go in the basket. We're just gonna set this over here. Whew. Goodness gracious. Now there's a smaller one over here to the side, which probably couldn't get its life because the other one was in the way. But anyhow, so we got that. Let's see here. What did I say we was gonna get? Some squash. Now there's flowers on either side of it, so I don't wanna mess with the flowers. But here we go. My first squash. There is another one down here. I'm debating, should I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on. Oh, production saying yes. All right. Let me get the second one. I guess that means we having squash for dinner, and that she wants her own. The second one here, which I can now say that. All right, let's move on. Let's get some cucumbers. Now we were just out here a couple days ago getting cucumbers, and we tore those up. I never even got to make pickles, but we'll try it this time. Maybe I'll make some pickles this time. The little plant that could. Now this, I don't know how much more fruit I'm gonna get off of this one. She's been pretty beat up. This is the one that I found. The aphid, not the aphids. There were actually spider mites on this one. I gave it a treatment of neem oil. But we'll see what happens. Might get some more. This basil actually has started flowering. I'm gonna take this whole thing. This one has started flowering. I pulled the flower off yesterday. It was like, I just hadn't realized how much it had grown. So much of it in here. Let's get some of these leaves off of here. Let's see. I've been saying every time I talk about this plant, oh, I gotta harvest that basil. I gotta harvest that basil. And have yet to do it. Just gonna trim back these marigolds that have already spent, and some more will bloom. Some more will bloom. I didn't quite mean to cut that whole thing, but and I should probably, all right, we're not going to do a pruning of this right now, but I am going to take the tops of this, all of this basil, and we will make pesto, a vegan pesto of some sort. All right, basil. What else do I need to get? I need to get this oregano out of this pepper plant. I'm gonna pull it out here. And the heat has really done a job on this thing, but we've got one pepper, which I'm torn between whether I want to leave it or whether I want to take it off. There's one side that wants to take it off so that the plant can put its energy into producing more fruit, or at this stage into flowering again. The thing is, we're in the middle of a heat wave, so that being said, I want to leave it and not put the plant in any more stress than it's already in. Because if I do actually take this off, now it's not concentrating on this one fruit, but it's concentrating on its whole life cycle. So I'm gonna go with my better mind, which says to just leave it. It's not like I need it or you know, anything like that. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I am gonna let it get a little bit of sun today, because since the temp has been in the 90s, I've been leaving it in the shade just to kind of take a little bit of the stress off of it. So I'm gonna harvest this this oregano. Which, as I talked about in another video, how this stuff is from the mint family, and it grows like weeds. I enjoy having it in here with my pepper plants because it's a natural deterrent for bugs that may want to eat my peppers, but at the same time, you don't need that much in there. So we'll use this when we cook up that squash. Mint is another plant that's taken over, so I'm going to harvest a bunch of this and we'll dry it, or Babe will dry it. And I could take this all the way down to nothing if I wanted to. It's gonna keep growing. I've already got new vines here, which will produce each of these will produce a whole nother plant. There's a ton of them in here, so I'm not worried about cutting this all the way back. All of these here, I just shove them down into the soil, and the nodes on the back of here will produce new roots, and the plant just keeps going and going and going. So I'll do one more. There we go. That should be good. And let's see what else. I think that's it.
Some more dill.
Some dill. We'll do some dill. Now I want to get all of this dill weed off of here, because I want this dill to keep producing. And this is just kind of how I figured out it'll keep growing and growing as long as I keep these at bay. At least that's the way it's worked for me, so I'm going to stick with it. It is kind of hard to keep up with. Once these things start flowering, it's kind of no slowing them down. So on one hand, I love the way they look, but on the other hand, it's like I don't want it to go to seed. I want you to keep giving me dill. So we've got some on here that I can use. I mean, you can even use the dill weed. I'll probably even put some of that in my cucumber salad, or in the, I'm sorry, in the pickles that I'm gonna make. Cleaned up that rutabaga. I've taken off the yellow leaves and the leaves that bugs had eaten through, or that were brown or whatever. And I'm gonna cook the tops. I'm gonna put this in my compost with some scraps from inside the house. Alright guys, so I've decided that I'm going to do some bread and butter pickles. And I'm going to use these old strawberry jam jars, since the recipe for this bread and butter pickle is a refrigerated recipe. So what you'll want to do is just leave it in your fridge for at least 24 hours to soak up all the good flavors, and then it'll last in your fridge for up to 3 months. So that is the method that I'm using today, and let's get started. All right, I want to use these cucumbers that I harvested today to make pickles. So what I need to do is let them sit in ice water for a couple of hours, because I want them to be nice and crunchy. I should have used a mandolin to cut these, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a mandolin and cut the rest of these up. Alright, now what you want to do is layer the cucumbers. I thought this was open. With ice and water. So, a bit of ice. And I'm actually going to use some water I had sitting. So I don't want them sitting in tap water. Now, if you had a lot of cucumbers, you would do this layering process. You put cucumbers, ice water, fill it all the way up. I don't have that many cucumbers. As you can see, I only harvested 4. Sliced them up the size that you want your pickles to be. And I will put more ice. Just making a nice ice bath for it. Just enough to cover all the cucumbers. So it's nice and cold. And that's it. You sit that in the fridge. I'm going to cover it with a piece of plastic actually and sit it in the fridge for about 3 or 4 hours. In the fridge you go. All right, so I've sliced up a half of an onion and put that into a stainless steel bowl along with our pickles, or cucumber slices rather. They're not pickles yet, that have been sitting in that ice bath. And they've been in there for 3 hours. Just gonna get all the water off of them. Don't want any ice chips, just the cucumbers. This water's cold. Freezing, so freezing. All right. We have that. Just gonna set that aside and get the pickling brine together, if you will. So we're gonna do 3 cups of white distilled vinegar. And don't overdo it. Try to be as exact as possible with the vinegar, because that's one of the things that will keep your pickles from being crunchy. All right, where are we at? Somewhere over here. I have 2/3 cups of sugar. We're gonna put that in there. We're gonna put 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, without showing the brand so they don't cut me out, but just pure and natural. You don't want anything with any anti-caking agents in it. As long as it's a pure and natural kosher salt, you can use that in the place of pickling salt, or at least I do. So I believe it'd be fine for you to use it as well. Somewhere over here I have celery seeds, and the celery seeds, tablespoon of celery seeds, and some ginger, which I have. I'm not going to put any ginger because this is the pickling spice that I made. It's all in here. I just wrapped it all in a cheesecloth and then tied it up. Now, if I wasn't using ginger in here, I would put like a small little, let me get the ginger. I would just cut off a small piece, maybe about this much, and put that in the water. But like I said, being that I have ginger in the pickling spice, I'm not going to add any more. So we're going to bring this to a small boil. I'm going to add fresh dill, because I don't know if I said it when I was making the pickling spice, but I did not add dill seeds to this because I want to use fresh dill. And I'll even use the dill weed as well. All of that's going to go in there. The only other thing left is turmeric. I'll put just a tad bit of turmeric, probably the equivalent to about, let's see, don't want to come out. About a teaspoon. That was about a teaspoon. I want to bring this to a boil. Submerge your pickling spices in there. All that dill. And I'm going to keep going with the dill. A little bit more. All right, and then we'll come back after this boils. I'll come back.